Hey everybody, it's Barbara and welcome back to my channel Straight Out of Context. I hope you enjoy this compilation.
I talk about how I believe that my mother was using this condition as a blueprint for some of the health concerns she claimed I had. So now knowing what we know about microdeletion 1Q21.1, let's try to narrow down what I did have wrong with me versus what I didn't.
So Gypsy Rose Blanchard is finally going in depth with her microdeletion disorder. Gypsy was 23 years old pretending that she couldn't walk. She makes this video to let us know that she was scamming everybody because she does not test positive for muscular dystrophy. One of the symptoms of the microdeletion disorder is hypersalivation. That's why her salivary glands were removed, but she blames her mom putting Orajel in the back of her glands to cause saliva. Gypsy blames that the doctors extracted her teeth for no reason, but she was 19 when her dental extraction happened. She gave the permission. Dee Dee never put her under conservatorship or guardianship. According to Gypsy, her only symptoms of the microdeletion are her eyes. One is cross-eyed, and the slant in the shape is caused from the microdeletion. She ignores the behavioral traits that come with the deletion and only takes accountability for these two, which I think is very telling to what her motives are for this video. Gypsy accuses her mom allegedly of mental, physical, and medical abuse. That is why she advocates for Munchausen by proxy. But you have to keep in mind that Gypsy, after the age of 18, approved whatever medical procedures were done and also jet sailed across the country, going to multiple locations, giving speeches and appearances, meeting celebrities. And at no time did she ever stand up from her wheelchair and say, hey, I could walk. I just want to let the audience know this is my perspective and my opinion. I'm not a medical profession. I am just somebody that studies Gypsy's case and her behaviors.
Hello, my name's Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and if you've read my book, My Time to Stand, then you will know that I have a rare genetic condition called microdeletion 1Q21.1. I was first tested for this condition back in 2012, and then again late last year just to confirm that the first results were correct. I'm slightly off of the standard here and here. So that small difference makes a big difference in my health, my physical appearance, and other health concerns. So going back to my memoir, I talk about how I believe that my mother was using this condition as a blueprint for some of the health concerns she claimed I had.
So in Gypsy's video, she finally admits that she has the microdeletion 1Q21.1. The same microdeletion that we all knew she had, but that she denied having for so long. Well, now Miss Gypsy Rose is going to come out and tell the truth. Okay? She does have it. She admits she has it. But you see, if you watch her video, she talks about how she was diagnosed with this microdeletion in 2012. And that her mother Dee Dee used it as a blueprint for the medical abuse in which she states she endured. Except, you mean to tell me that your medical abuse didn't start until 2012? Because you said that you were being medically abused for years before that. But I find it funny because Dee Dee could not have used that as a blueprint for you to undergo all unnecessary surgeries and treatments, because you were being treated for medical conditions far before 2012. And she couldn't have looked up this microdeletion to give you fake symptoms when it wasn't even on the books and journals until about 2008. So, she could not have used all of this as a blueprint to make sure that you were medically abused and to give you fake surgeries because she had Munchausen's by proxy. The timeline doesn't fit. The math ain't mathing. People didn't know it existed until 2008. You weren't diagnosed until 2012. Yet, again, you were treated for all of your medical issues way before then, because you actually had symptoms of this microdeletion. I'm just saying. Is anybody else seeing this, or is it just me?
This is going to be a long video. So if you don't have time to watch it, save it, come back to it. there was no way for me to make this a short video, so I apologize, but it is worth the watch because there's some good information in here. Hey y'all, I just watched both of Gypsy's little videos about her microdeletion, and there's a couple things I kind of want to like go over and see what y'all think. Let's just get into it. I sped her up because she talks very slow. No offense, we're all from the South. We talk slow. Got it.
Hello, my name is Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and if you've read my book, My Time to Stand, then you will know that I have a rare genetic condition called microdeletion 1Q21.1. So going back to my memoir, I talk about how I believe that my mother was using this condition as a blueprint for some of the health concerns she claimed I had. I was first tested for this condition back in 2012, and then again late last year just to confirm that the first results were correct.
Okay, y'all heard that. Her mom uses it as a blueprint, but she wasn't diagnosed until 2012. Okay.
Microdeletion 1Q21.1 puts those affected at a greater risk of developing autism.
So this microdeletion puts you at a greater risk for developing autism. Maybe you should take back some of the mean things that you've said about Nick then. Because what if, just a what if, okay? And I'm not trying to wish evil things on your child at all, would never do that to any child. But what if, she is a carrier of this and she has autism? And she looks back on things that you've put on the internet, because the internet's forever. I don't care if you delete it. And she looks back when she gets older and she sees things that you have said about someone with autism. Do you think that's going to go over well with her? Or are you going to poison her mind about Nick too? I'm not saying he's like an angel. I'm just saying without you, he wouldn't be in jail.
Muscular dystrophy is also something very common with this genetic condition. However, muscular dystrophy does not get better with time. It gets worse. As you can read, all forms of muscular dystrophy grow worse over time, and muscles progressively degenerate and weaken. So therefore, there's no possibility that I had muscular dystrophy when I was undergoing all of these surgeries. I have a scar on my right thigh from being tested for muscular dystrophy, and it came back negative. So again, if I didn't have it then, and I don't have it now, I didn't have it. Therefore, the wheelchair was completely unnecessary.
We all know that you didn't need the wheelchair. At least not long term, but even though you didn't have muscle dystrophy, you could have had, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, hypotonia. Could be saying that completely wrong, but that's what it looks like it's spelled like. But you could have had that. So let me put that up here for y'all, because it's associated with your microdeletion. But you didn't want to mention that, did ya? Anyway, so that right there could be the reason that your mom even put you in the wheelchair to begin with, or why a doctor put you in a wheelchair to begin with. Because let's be realistic, like, you can't get one of those fancy little wheelchairs that was in your bathroom in the crime scene photos unless you have a prescription. So a doctor prescribed you a wheelchair. And I don't think doctors prescribe those kind of wheelchairs without just cause. Just saying.
So this is a big one. So the feeding tube. So most people have a feeding tube put in if they are not getting enough nutrition and they are very, very, very sick. Also, if they have any of these other conditions or health concerns that could have led to them requiring one. So let's take a look at that. So I never had a stroke, never had dementia, never had a brain injury, never had head and neck cancer. And this goes back to the muscular dystrophy that we have already established that I never had and currently don't have. Therefore, making the feeding tube completely unnecessary. And this would fall in the lines of malpractice.
There's a huge difference between Googling reasons for a G-tube and your microdeletion 1Q21.1 with a G-tube. Two totally different things. When you Google what you did, you get your results that you posted in your video. I am going to put probably like right here and right here my results on Google. Just Google of putting in microdeletion 1Q21.1 G-tube. That's all I wrote in the freaking search bar, okay? And this is what popped up. Tell me who's doing a false narrative here. This is why she never sued for malpractice, folks, because she can't.
There's no specific reason listed in my records as to why I had dental extraction. This was completely unnecessary. This is just, that's just wrong on so many levels. The fact that dentists did this, not this, but this, without any medical evidence to back up why this was necessary, there's nothing to justify this in my medical records at all. So that was unnecessary.
Okay, this has always been like at the top of everybody's list of things to talk about when it comes to like Gypsy and her medical problems. So, Gypsy, I can honestly say that your microdeletion has zero to do with your tooth decay. However, there are many, many reasons that your teeth could have done what they did. Obvious ones being soda, which, I mean, we all saw the Pepsi, right? Snacking is a big one. So I don't know how much candy, how much sugar intake you had, whatever. Brushing your teeth is obviously a must if you want to keep them. Your poor oral hygiene is probably a big factor. Also, genetics. Genetics can make a huge difference with your teeth. If your father or your mother or your grandmother or your grandfather had bad teeth, just like they took care of them, but they were just bad. Like some people just have bad teeth, and that happens. Like there's not shit you can do about it. So sometimes it can be genetic. That could be the reason that you lost your teeth. And that also is probably the highest like likelihood, like the main reason. If there really was no reason listed on your medical records, then I would go with genetics. Other than that, the only other thing that could cause tooth decay like that is going to be insufficient fluoride. So whatever toothpaste you're using might not have had enough fluoride in it, or didn't have any fluoride in it, or you didn't even know. Who knows? There are so many reasons why your teeth could have fell out of your head, okay? And no dentist is going to extract good teeth. Not a single one. Not a single dentist out there is going to take a good tooth out of your mouth. No. So, good try. So, I have only covered her part 1 that she did. I watched part 2. I might dive into it in a little bit. But what I wanted to really say about all of this is all of this in the grand scheme of things is irrelevant, because this is the type of person that you're about to, the clip I'm about to play, this is the type of person that demands our respect and demands that we accept her. And no thank you. No thank you. I don't want to be associated with a mommy on a lighter. No thanks. Sorry.
I ain't going nowhere, just embrace me, bitch. Always lurking on my page, you don't hate me, sis.
Bree, that's your best friend. That was your best friend. How are we supposed to take someone like that serious?
When I say allegedly, what I mean is I spend my day writing down as much BS information that I can think of and make videos, because I only get views when I post about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, knowing that everything I say is false information. And when her show airs, all my claims get proven wrong and I lose credibility. I was wrong about the baby being Ryan's. I was wrong that the DNA test was fake. I was wrong about Gypsy going back to prison. I was wrong about Ken leaving Gypsy. I was wrong about Gypsy getting back together with Ryan. And I totally made up CPS being involved with the baby and Gypsy not having custody of her daughter, and falsely confirming that her baby has a genetic condition when I have no access to that baby's medical records to know that information. I just needed money this month, so I made up some shit for views. Turns out her baby is safe and happy with Gypsy and Ken, and they are happy together, but I can't admit that to my followers, because I need those views. Maybe someday I will make content about makeup, but for now I am Nina the bully influencer. When I say allegedly, what I mean is I spend my day writing down as much BS information that I can think of and make videos, because I only get views when I post about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. No, totally made up CPS being involved with the baby and Gypsy not having custody of her daughter, and falsely confirming that her baby has a genetic condition when I have no access to that baby's medical records to know that information. I just needed money this month, so I made up some shit for views. Turns out her baby is safe and happy with Gypsy and Ken, and they are happy together, but I can't admit that to my followers, because I need those views. Maybe someday I will make content about makeup, but for now I am Nina the bully influencer. When I say allegedly, what I mean is I spend my day writing down as much BS information that I can think of and make videos because I only get views when I post about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, knowing that everything I say is false information.
So it's super good to know that we are actually not alone, and that there are other stations that seem to have some kind of sense as to why this is wrong and what's going on. Gypsy's not telling her story to advocate. Gypsy's telling her fake story to make money. And Court TV today, 100%, called her out for that.
Expertise. I mean, I think based on our policies and procedures of guests that you have on the program and those of us in the field with the educational background, practitioner-based experience, I'm not sure how one can simply proclaim to be a legal advocate, and it's just very confusing to me how and why that's the crown these individuals want to wear, when those of us who really do the deep dive into their backgrounds know the heinous conduct displayed. So I almost think it's laughable.
Right, Dr. Debbie. They both don't have a great track record. Jen Coffinduffer, your thoughts on this?
Well, good morning. This is my thought. Money, money, money. You know, right now, Gypsy Rose is worth about $3 million. And that's because of what she does on social media. And Casey Anthony is just looking at getting right aboard that gravy train and riding it. If you look at what she says, everything is I and me, and I was thrust into this, and this has been asked of me or put upon me. It's all baloney. It's about the dollar bill.
Oh, I love that analysis, Jen. Thank you.
There was also one more thing that I found interesting.
It's growing. And we are in a very odd time where we're celebrating people in the back for reasons that they find important. We find that, we're celebrating people who have murdered people. It's like nothing I've ever seen. And so that's the part of the population that is really concerning.
Yeah.
I love when the lady said the people who actually know to do their research and to look into these things, to understand the depth of the heinous acts that both of them have committed, as well as this generation of people that celebrate people who unalive people. Part of it's Hollywood. Keep in mind, they bought Gypsy's story before she even took her plea deal. HBO, for Mommy and Dearest. It's sick they got their hands in this because too many cases of Munchausen by proxy were not really well known. And they thought, oh, this is too good. We're going to get a hold of this. And we're going to lie and we're going to twist it and we're going to make it more interesting. This is wrong. It's heartbreaking that we as a nation are celebrating schmurder. And you can say that the two of them have absolutely nothing in common, but they do. It's all about the money and playing on your sympathy and thinking you're stupid because you won't even look to see the truth.
Did you instruct him to stab her 17 times?
No, I did not.
To nearly decapitate her?
No, I did not.
Gypsy is strikingly calm.
Bed, lower, Dee Dee will be laying, points to the pillow, and then starts doing the stabbing motion. Very clearly who is the one who was in charge.
He was deeply involved with it. I mean, just like it says in his plea statements, like I said, right, when I was talking to them, there was latex gloves that be on the porch. She did say that. Right on the text, it was clear as day. I had to find them when I got there, and I let her know that I was at the door. She opened the door, and she made sure I had the gloves on before she gave me the weapon, and she made sure that she wouldn't let me open the door. She made sure I had those gloves on before either of those doors opened.
Nick got a John.
Point blank period, right in your face lying to you. So how can you believe or trust anything that you've watched in the media? You can't. Because we already have the evidence. We already know that the police had a video of her doing this towards the bed to show him instructions on what to do. And it was Dee Dee's bed. You can clearly see that. And Gypsy's hand. But to control her image, she gets on this nice little interview for everybody to see and says no and plays a victim. And she does that to you guys over and over and over again because you guys don't look into her case or do your research. So you just believe it and think she's an innocent victim, but she's truly not.
Do y'all remember when I told you that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was offering up her daughter to Nicholas Scotashine? Well, now I actually have the proof. I found it. This is the Greene County Sheriff's Office. This is the incident report. In the incident report, it says if they had a daughter, their daughter had to lose her stuff to Nicholas because he would be the master of secret. That is the actual police report. What you're about to watch is for mature audiences only. So you're going to see 3 people in this video. One is Gypsy's best friend, Bree, and then Bree's grandma, Dreamer, and me. The video we're about to watch is totally credited to Michelob85, an amazing content creator, may I add. So please give her a follow.
As you can see, I have to mute this entire section, and that's because there's a lot of cussing, a lot of screaming, a lot of name calling, etc., going on.
Talking about me.
You said Keesh. No, I'm talking about Nicole.
That's Bree's grandma.
There is something seriously wrong with Keesh. What do you do all day? Keesh.
These are all separate videos made about me.
You wouldn't let nobody else talk, so I muted it, so you would have to listen to what they say, and then I unmuted you. So if you want to accuse me of anything, bitch. Dreamer, you've been talking to Ryan. I promise you, I will make it come true.
Beep.
No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I don't watch you, bitch. That's
Ooh.
why I just made that video. You made another one? Accuse me of that.
Y'all, this chick did everything with a toothbrush except brush her teeth. Oh, come on.
Just swallow it.
Just swallow it.
Don't be ridiculous.
Okay.
What is up with Ken?
Very good. She doesn't love it. It's the first time.
You can tell he's had a couple of drinks and she's over there pregnant and sober. Like, she is not having a good time. You want some? She says no.
Want to try a little bit?
This is like the entree.
Yes, you will.
Yes, she will. Yes, she will. Oh, God, he's forcing it down her throat. And then he tells her that she's disappointing.
She's lying. She didn't even try it because she's afraid.
Oh, my God, Ken.
She's afraid to try it. She's afraid. I liked it. She's just afraid to try it.
Why would he say that? He's got 4 drinks in. That's what's wrong. See, you can already see he's already had a refill on that drink he's got. He's drunk's what he is. He's got a little bit of a buzz. This is their anniversary. Like, why would he say that to that waiter? The waiter says you can be picky for any reason you want. Nobody's going to fault you for it.
I just wanted to shame her a little bit. That's all.
And after he says that, Ken speaks up and says, I just wanted to shame her for it. And then he says, public shaming rarely works. Oh, she goes to the bathroom and cries. And he was on his phone. And then he hides it before she even got back.
Are you excited?
He doesn't even recognize that she's even upset. Oh, Ken, this is not a good look. Oh, this is not a good look, Ken.
This comment that Gypsy left under her own post is pretty important because she calls Nicholas Godejohn a psychopath. But then, hey, what is the world coming to when we are giving platforms to Casey Anthony and Gypsy Rose Blanchard and paying them?
You remember your last words with who?
I did go to the kitchen and I gave her a hug and I told her I love you. And I remember holding a pillow that she slept with like every night and crying into it and apologizing to this pillow as if it were her and just saying I'm so sorry.
You remember your last words with who?
I did go to the kitchen and I gave her a hug and I told her I love you. And I remember holding a pillow that she slept with like every night and crying into it and apologizing to this pillow as if it were her and just saying I'm so sorry.
You remember your last words with who?
I did go to the kitchen and I gave her a hug and I told her I love you. And I remember holding a pillow that she slept with like every.
Look, y'all, I was all dressed, ready to go lay down, watch a movie, and go to bed. But there's some new piping hot tea about Gypsy Rose, so you might want to stay tuned to this one. So, allegedly, after Gypsy gave birth, she only had the baby a week after the baby was born. CPS shows up because she's still on parole. And this is all alleged, y'all. They found box wine and prescription pills in the closet. Now baby Aurora is in the CPS custody, basically, and Ken, Gypsy, and Gypsy's family has to have supervised visits, and the person supervising these visits is Ken's mother. Now, whether she's living with Ken in the house or apartment, wherever he's living in, that is still unknown. We don't know if she still lives in Dallas. Gypsy Rose is super pissed that she can't make baby Aurora a cash cow to make more money because her career is slowing down as a murderer. Allegedly, the baby looks just like Dee Dee, a carbon copy. And the baby is still under Anderson because Gypsy was still married when she gave birth. And remember when Gypsy said, oh, her last name was Urker? It's not. It's under Anderson. Imagine Ken trying to raise up a baby under the Anderson last name. And Ken does not want to marry Gypsy. As you can see in the last episode of Life After Lockup, y'all, he is so standoffish around Gypsy. It looks like he don't even want to be around Gypsy. And he was flirting with another girl, and this was captured on camera for the whole world to see. The only reason why Ken got back with Gypsy in the first place because she had a name out in the world and she was making money hand over fist. But now her career is slowing down, so he don't want to be here no more.
Come to Canada. I'd love to.
I can't. I
I'd love to go to Canada.
I don't
want to get some poutine.
Go to Canada.
We'll figure it out. We'll sneak you in or something.
Oh my God! Scratch that. We are not doing none of that. I was kidding.
I'm joking. Live restricted for someone. What did I do?
Probably said you were gonna.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
This is one of the creepiest videos of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I'm gonna let you watch it and then I'll explain.
Make me a yard. So where are you going today?
I'm going to Children's Mercy Hospital to see my dentist for my teeth will be vaccinated.
If you've been following the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, then you know that photos of the crime scene of Dee Dee Blanchard had been leaked online. It was very gruesome photos with Dee Dee's naked body being, stabbed and her neck sliced. And now this video is resurfacing of Gypsy on one of her medical trips. Her mom was basically poisoning her and making her take meds when she was not actually ill, and that was making her ill. The timing of this just being released gives me the chills. Let me know what you guys think though in the comments below.
Wait, hold up.
Why'd you dye your hair back brown?
Because the upkeep of the highlights were a lot. Like I was spending a lot of money trying to keep up with it. I don't like the roots to show, so. And also I'm kind of impulsive, so I went to Dollar General, I bought box dye, and I didn't even tell Christy I was gonna do it, and so I just went in the bathroom, posted up for 4 hours in the bathroom, shaving my legs, doing my, spa, face masks, did my hair, come back a new woman. Again, the new old me.
Round faces are the most trusted faces in face reading. They signal to the unconscious mind that this person is more childlike and therefore can be trusted. Here in Gypsy Rose's face, we have this beautiful round face, but then we have quite a few features that say the opposite of trust. To do this reading justice, we have to go back to the beginning because this did not happen in a vacuum. So go ahead and take a look at her teeth here. You can notice there are big gaps. These typically belong to people, children who feel very passive, they feel powerless in their situation, and tend to have really scattered thinking. Then you'll notice that she has quite an overbite, which belong to people that have a history of underlying grief and moderate to severe deprivation in childhood. This lines up with her chin being very recessed, which belonged to people that were very much dominated and controlled by somebody growing up. And then if we move over, if you take a look at her ear here, I know it's blurry, but you can see that the inner cup is very small. The inner cup represents our inner world, while the outer cup of the ear represents our outer world. She was very focused on the outer world, on money, on people, on things. And you can see this in her ear. Also, her ear is very high, higher than her eyebrow. So she's brilliant, processing information at a very rapid rate and speed. Then I'm going to jump over here to her upper lip, and you can see that it sticks out very much further than her bottom lip. This is a propensity towards intense emotional situations or drama. Sometimes it'll be her own, sometimes it'll be generated in just Finder, but it's wielding a lot more feminine, chaotic energy. I was looking at her eyes and they do look very beady to me. So I'm going to actually read you what I found in Michael J. Lincoln's What's in a Face. It's an excellent face reading book. And it says, they have a businesslike, matter-of-fact, undemonstrative, feeling-bearing approach. They may be cold-blooded. It was the only strategy open to them in their amoral and potentially dangerous family. Chills, that is so unbelievably accurate. Having read what we read about Gypsy Rose in her face, I do not want to lose sight of the fact. If we look at Gypsy's mom, we can see this big padding in the center of her forehead. This is self-will. A person that has this can force themselves to do things that no one else can do. You actually see this on a lot of NFL players. I read one recently who had this, and it's just immense amount of self-will. Then you've got a really wide face. This is somebody that loves to party, very social, wants to have fun. Then we've got underneath of her eyes, do you see the lower lid is very straight and almost even comes up a little bit. This is being very focused on a goal and having something that you're trying to get out of somebody. It's like not being very honest and sincere, just you want something, so you're manipulating things to get it. Same with her smile. When you see a smile like this is like a fake game smile. I'm smiling because I'm supposed to, not because I feel genuine happiness, but everything about her says I'm putting on a front in this picture. Coming back to Gypsy, my prediction is that her face is going to radically change over time. She's not in the same situation she was. She spent a lot of time in jail, and now she's going to recalibrate. Her personality is going to recalibrate. The things that are important to her might change drastically from the learning she's received. So my guess is that her face is going to continue to change and that she will just end up looking vastly different over the years than she does in this picture.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is known to have DiGeorge syndrome, 22q11.2, deletion syndrome, a condition caused by a deletion of a segment of chromosome 22, which can lead to various health issues. Here's a more detailed explanation. DiGeorge syndrome, a syndrome known as 22q11.2 deletion syndrome, occurs when a segment of chromosome 22 is missing. DiGeorge syndrome can cause a variety of health issues, including heart defects, immune system problems, and developmental delays. The deletion usually happens randomly during the development of the sperm and egg or in early fetal development. And despite what she's recently said, her medical records do state under notes that mother was tested and she was negative. This date was on 5/15/2007. Primary care physician. Chief complaint. Gypsy is a 13-year-old female who came to the clinic today for pre-operative evaluation. She is scheduled for a BMTT placement, by Dr. Wei on 5/21/2007. This states PT transferred care from New Orleans, where most records were lost after Hurricane Katrina. Gypsy is a paraplegic from birth and in a wheelchair. She has mild retardation, currently studying at a second grade level. She only sees shadows in her right eye, but vision in left eye is good with correctional lenses. Remember when she came out of prison, was wearing glasses? It also states history of present illness, reoccurrent ear infection since birth, tubes placed in ears twice, one set at 2 years of age, 3 years ago also, T-tubes placed, which are blocked and now coming out. Gypsy is having more ear infections now. Ear was bleeding in February, treated with antibiotics for infection of right ear 1 month ago. That is the doctor reporting that themselves. It states that she had asthma, although she has been in remission since about 5 years old. Muscular dystrophy. She's had ear tubes done 2 different times. She's had to have multiple surgeries on her strabismus, which is not the same as lazy eye. Strabismus is cross-eyed, both eyes, and you will go blind if it is not corrected with surgery. She has a G-tube for failure to thrive. She had her tonsils removed, excision of submandibular glands for hypersalivation, and she had a muscle biopsy, which is a test done to determine whether or not you have muscular dystrophy, but the paper already says she has muscular dystrophy. Same paper. This also states here that Gypsy occasionally has swelling of the left leg. Gypsy was born 4 weeks prematurely. It also states that she wasn't sure if she was partially paraplegic at birth or if it was shortly after birth because of a fever episode. Underwent dental rehab in April of this year, had 3 teeth pulled at this particular time, and had 13 to 14 cavities repaired. Now, that's because Gypsy didn't have the teeth that she had removed all removed at once. And she also had not 16, but 15 silver crowns done to try to save and repair those. At the time, Medicaid did not cover cosmetic or restorative dental care. If you lose your baby teeth and you don't take care of your adult teeth, you lose your adult teeth. Sometimes genetics play a role, sometimes medications play a role, sometimes just lack of good dental hygiene is the biggest factor and biggest role. But we do know by looking at pictures that Gypsy had multiple baby teeth taken out. She's had multiple baby teeth capped. And then moving on to her adult teeth, there were several issues going on with her adult teeth. They removed one from the bottom. They removed one from the bottom front. They removed 3 from the upper front. It wasn't all these extractions done at one time. She's had several extractions done on baby teeth and then later on her adult teeth as well. And the crowning of not 16, but 15 teeth that she has, that was essentially them trying to save what was salvageable. Unfortunately, veneers and dental implants and things like that are considered cosmetic, and a lot of restorative like root canals, crowns, bridges, all of that is not covered by basic Medicaid or most private insurances. Those are considered to be restorative or cosmetic dentistry, and that is not something that anybody is entitled to. Unfortunately, it's my own opinion that everybody should be entitled to that. With what we have at our disposal today and the technology, everybody should be able to have their smile restored.
There's no specific reason listed in my medical records as to why I had dental extraction. This was completely unnecessary. This is just...
Get the dental records and the dental x-rays and see why.
The fact that dentists did this without any medical evidence to back up why this was necessary, there's nothing to justify this in my medical records at all.
And ultimately had her salivary glands removed. And that can have complications, like tooth loss.
After surgery, I had more and more of my teeth removed. And now I have 16 teeth left.
So they started giving you Tegretol, and it caused your teeth to crumble.
Yes, sir.
Did you know what was happening at the time?
No, I really didn't. I just didn't understand why my teeth were falling out. I had to have them extracted. I just knew I was losing teeth.
I'm not sure all the names of the medication that my mom was making me take, but the medications did affect my teeth. they started to deteriorate, and some of them had to be extracted. My mom told the dentist that my teeth were chipping away and that I was experiencing tooth pain. So what they did was they decided to extract my teeth. My teeth is something that I've always been really insecure about. The hospital gave me free dentures because chemotherapy and treatments like that will rot your teeth.
It wasn't because of the bottle. What's interesting is in the medical records, there's no clear answer for why they were extracted.
I read that.
Now, what we can speculate on is lack of good nutrition. We can speculate medication. We can only really kind of speculate why by seeing other facts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably a strong possibility that certain medications wore the enamel down or had certain effects. I also grew up with acid reflux.
Okay.
So, there's probably a contributing factor of things.
My dad and stepmom tried to look for an attorney that can take my case for a malpractice lawsuit, and I don't think anyone wants to touch it. I've not been able to find one.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's really surprising, actually.
It seems so obvious.
Maybe
I wonder why that would be Gypsy. Maybe because there was no malpractice to begin with.
Gypsy Rose likes to get in trouble, and she is not sorry when she gets caught. All this FOIA stuff that has been circulating, several people have put in new requests for FOIA documents. All of the stuff that would have been showed had she went to trial, all of these things that should have been showed at Nicholas Godejohn's trial, really paints a totally different picture than the narrative that she likes to put out there. And totally negating her entire responsibility, trying to make it seem like she's the victim of Nicholas Godejohn and not the other way around. It really does prove and show that she was the one manipulating him. But just looking at Munchausen syndrome by proxy, we know her mom couldn't have had it because she solely did it for external rewards, and that has to be absent to diagnose.
They had done some tests and found out she had a chromosome disorder that was causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system and her muscle.
But so by the current criteria of Munchausen's, also now called factitious disorder, Gypsy Rose actually doesn't meet criteria. And the reason she doesn't meet criteria is because the external rewards that they're receiving are so obvious and so blatant.
Did you instruct him to 17 times?
No, I did not.
To nearly decapitate?
No, I did not.
Did Nick have a knife that was used in the murder?
I supplied the knife.
Where did you get the knife?
I stole it from Walmart
And why did you steal it from Walmart?
because I didn't see a knife that was sufficient enough in our own home.
There was also some gloves that have been introduced into evidence.
Yes,
Where did Nick get the gloves?
I supplied them.
Did you instruct him to stab 17 times?
No, I did not.
To nearly decapitate?
No, I did not. I supplied the knife.
But again, here you are in the comment section of one of our friends, Flawless Nina's video, in which a user simply states this, quote, "I wouldn't be concerned about Nina and rumors. I would be more concerned about those FOIA documents coming out," end quote. And here comes Gypsy Rose to the rescue, replying to this comment, saying, "We all know the case was a fucked up situation. I will never deny that. But haven't you heard that it is so 10 plus years ago? People grow, people change, and learn from their bad choices. I did my time." Haven't you heard that was so like 10 plus years ago? Really? If we're expected to think this way about her premeditated murder of her own mom and abhorrent sexual fantasies, then I never want to hear about her abuse again.
So why is Gypsy coming after content creators? Could it be that they have access to new FOIA documents that she doesn't want people to pay attention to? And don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share.